What is a home to you? Is it an investment? A place you'll live for a limited amount of time and then sell for some fat bags of money? Is it a functional entity? Somewhere you eat and sleep, provides shelter until something better comes along, or you have to move across the country for a job? Or is it more than that to you? Is it an embodiment of your family, recalling countless memories spent around dining room dinner tables with friends and family, lines on door frames measuring your child's height as they grow up? And what do you do when this house needs improvement or renovation? Do you pay someone to do it? Or do you channel your inner DIY champion and do that shit yourself? And we're back. This is Woodworking is Bullshit, your favorite podcast about creativity, art, design, philosophy, the mental side of what we do, not how we do. I'm your host, Paul Jasper of Copper Pig Woodworking, scientist by day, woodworker by night, and we got the band back together.
Hey, yo!
What up, motherfuckers? Across the screen, I got my boy Eric Curtis, fine furniture maker and content creator, and the third musketeer is back in the mix tonight, Mary Tissaye!
Aw, wow. It's been too long since I heard that.
Mary is back. Adobe engineer by day and designer.
Non-engineer? Nope.
No, oh, sorry. Well, like, designer?
Yeah.
UX designer.
Yeah, but you know the engineering though too, Mary.
Sure.
She does it all.
Adobe UX designer by day, home DIYer by night.
Yeah. Get out the leggings of the scroll saw, girl. Let's ride.
These days.
Well, so we decided to maybe take this on tonight because Mary bought a house. And we're like, we wanted to have Mary back, and she's got time on her schedule because her life is back in somewhat of a semblance of balance. And we're like, what should we talk about? She's like, well, I bought a house and I pretty much spend every waking moment on my house.
She said, I bought a house and I fucking hate it. I don't know why I did this.
What was I thinking?
So we're like, why don't we talk about DIY on our houses?
Oh, God.
So Mary, how do you feel about your house and DIY in a general sense?
I fucking hate DIY. It is the worst.
She said no foreplay. I'm not setting it up. I'm hitting the punchline at the 3-minute mark.
It is the goddamn worst, and I understand why you have to do it because it's so much cheaper than hiring someone, but also it's just the worst. And like, I kind of know what I'm doing for the most part, and I have like all the tools, but it's still so unbearable, and I hate it. And all I want to do is make furniture, but I don't have time to be in the shop anymore.
Time out. Let's bring it back to the beginning.
We really did. Swinging.
We really did. Let's all right. First of all, let's sit on the couch. Let's stare at the ceiling. And let's, close our eyes and really dive into why you have so much vitriolic hate toward DIY. What is it about the process from the beginning? Because you bought your house, what, 2 months ago? Or you've been in your house for like 2 or 3 months?
Yeah, I've been in my house for I think almost 2 months now. I closed July 7th, so it's been almost half a year.
Okay.
But I worked on it for like 4 months.
Yeah, you had an ample amount of time where you were doing a bunch of things to it. And even that it was way over budget. It was way over time, as all projects always are.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where it started? Was that the seed of hate that is now burning brightly in your heart?
I feel like the seed of hate comes from the fact that I look around and I just see never-ending projects. Like, I'm not a patient person, as you both know. I want things done fast and as soon as possible.
I don't know what you're talking about, Mary.
So I'm not the kind of person who's like, all right, that's good. That's something I'll eventually get to. Like, I just want to get it done, which I know is not something I am physically capable of doing in this house. Like, I have to wait and I have to just let time do its thing. But like, it kills me to look around and see things that are unfinished.
Okay. Can we also give some context to the listeners about the house itself?
Yeah, sure.
Because your house is not, it's not like you bought a house that was built in 2007 and you're like, I want to paint the walls. Like, you bought 100+ year old house.
Yeah, the house was built in 1915. It's, I think, kind of like Victorian style. Maybe, I don't know how. It's like a little in between. But for the most part, it's like it's got beautiful like stained glass windows, like really nice wood carvings and like decorative elements. But there's the last owner didn't quite take care of it as well as one should. And I remember during my during my inspection, I was like, what is that sound? And I hear just like water in the basement running down the walls, and I see it. And I'm just like, oh gosh, it's like an active leak. So I go upstairs and I turn off the water to the toilet because the toilet is running, and that shuts off the leak. So I was like, all right, I know there's a leak from the toilet. I know where it's coming from. I'm going to get, concessions from the seller on that, which sure, I got like, I forget how much it was, like 7,000 maybe. I was like, okay, great. That'll cover whatever this like leak is. Fast forward to closing day. I close. The plumber comes and he opens up the wall where the leak is, and he's like, "Yeah, all the plumbing needs to be replaced."
Oh my God!
Every bit of it.
Every single bit of plumbing, because it's all cast iron. He like brings me over. He points and like touches the cast iron pipe, and it just crumbles like under one poke.
This is all the wastewater return.
Yeah.
So that was great. But I mean, yeah. So it was a little bit more than I wanted. I'm glad I got some of the money back from the seller, but it was still not entirely covered. I mean, it's nice that I know that it's all new plumbing now, because it's like, I don't know, I guess it's all new and PVC, and I know it's going to be fine, but it's just like a hard pill to swallow. And at those first few months, Eric can attest that I was like driving myself crazy, because it was all of these internal things that I couldn't really see the changes happening, because it's like plumbing and electrical, and I did structural stuff, but like, it's just so frustrating when you spend so much money and you don't see that much changing in the actual house. Like, it's none of the fun cosmetic things, which is what I wanted to get to.
I'm so glad we touched on that, buddy. Because like, so much, like even so much of what we do, people don't understand. A lot of clients often don't understand, or new clients don't often understand that, like, sometimes I'll spend a week milling wood, and it's just joiner, thicknesser, table saw, joiner, thicknesser, table saw. And like, I know that's not the sexy stuff, but guys, like, you still got to pay me for that work.
You have to do it. Yeah.
And the thing is that it all comes together at the very end. So you lay the strong foundation, you do the work. And in this case, you're playing the plumbers and the electricians. And it's, if you had to do that work once you were already moved in and your belongings were in there and you had to tear it all up, like and then you're paying for storage units, or like trying to like stuff everything into different rooms and constantly moving things around. So I'm not trying to minimize, like, it was a real pain in the ass when you moved in, dog. Like, you had a real time of it. I'm not trying to say you didn't, but as far as the investment in either your time or your money, like, those are the moments to do those things, is before all your shit is in the house.
Smart.
Yeah, exactly. I was, my basement is, I mean, it's an old house. So like, my basement was like this old stone foundation. It was kind of, I'm not gonna lie, it was terrifying to be down there, because it was just like cobwebs everywhere, really like spooky lighting, and like, just overall, it was fine. It was like, I addressed all of the moisture issues. I got like dehumidifiers down there. I fixed some like cisterns, some joists, etc. So like, it was fine. It was safe, but like, going down there was just not fun and slightly terrifying. And my mom who had not been to the house yet, by the way, she was like, you need to fix your basement. You need to get it addressed, because that looks really scary. She saw photos, and I was like, do you know how big my basement is? 60 feet long. That is so much money to get it, like, everything reparged.
Just so that it doesn't look scary?
Yeah, I was like, do you know how much money that is? Like, are you going to contribute to this? Because I'm getting estimates that are real high. And ultimately I did get it done, because like, she pointed out, which yeah, she's technically right, and I am kind of glad I did it. But like it,
Hold on.
that's
Have you told her that she was right?
no, of
No.
course not. This Asian parent-child relationship works both ways, in which you never admit to the other that you're right. That they're right.
You're just playing to a stalemate at this point.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, she was right in that all the basement is my storage for everything in this old house. So like, if I had all of my stuff down there and like was trying to do this, that would have been such a pain. So I'm glad I did it before I moved in. It looks like very pristine and white, and Eric's been down there. It's like pretty sterile, I guess.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's a basement. It doesn't
Is
have
that-
like, yeah.
It's not-
is that where
it's
you
not scary
dissect the
anymore.
bodies or what?
Oh, first.
Yes.
Oh, that's a murder basement. 100.
Well, I mean, if it looks
Yeah.
like a surgeon's office, which I guess
Yeah.
is an OR. I don't know. Immediately thought of Mary dismembering bodies down there. I don't know why.
As the only person of the two of us who has been physically in that basement, that is worrying to me. But I think it's probably not inaccurate.
So, Mary, what you mentioned your house is historic.
Mhm.
So, when you were thinking about renovating it, how did you feel about changing the character of the house versus celebrating and maintaining its original character? Did you feel you had an obligation to keep the historic nature of the home, or do you view it as a blank canvas? It's mine, and I do what I want.
I guess technically, if you're a homeowner, you can do whatever you want. However, if you care about the house, as one should, I think that you should try to maintain the character of the home. So here, the last homeowner ruined all of the character. They like put in like the worst finishes, just like
no.
really did not seem to care about any of the characteristics of the house.
Like what?
I mean,
what do you mean by like bad finishes?
just like, I mean, you've been in the kitchen. It's just like the cheapest possible finishes
Sure.
ever.
It
and-
felt like a Home Depot kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a flip, I guess. And I think renters were living in there before, so there wasn't too much, yeah, not like super nice quality stuff. And like they have allowed a lot of the kind of nicer historic things, like the stained glass and kind of like the carved wood details. Like they had allowed those to fall a little bit into ruin. So I'm getting the stained glass fixed. I'm a little disappointed that all of the wood is painted, but it's fine. Like they had covered up this like beautiful tile fireplace with like peel and stick, and it's just like stuff that wasn't great. So the way that I'm trying to address it is bring it back to its own original character, but also like in my I don't know what the right word, aesthetic, I guess. And I'm trying to maintain its original details, but also decorate it and furnish it in a way that fits my personality.
Yeah, see, the decorating and furnishing though is not it's like non-binding, right? Like that's temporary. So it's like you can have your cake and eat it too. You honor the original character of the home in terms of structural elements, but then you decorate it or adorn it in a way that kind of is nice to live with in your own aesthetic.
Yeah, which is like exactly what I'm trying to do. So it is kind of a more traditional style home, and my aesthetic is a little bit more contemporary, modern-ish. But I actually think the mix of different styles is what makes a home feel like a home, I guess. And I think that it, like, I don't want to live in a house that is like Victorian, super old, and doesn't feel like any of my own furniture fits in it. So I think that once you step into the space, it feels very natural, and it's a very girly home, I'll say. I have really embraced kind of like
Good.
very feminine features.
That's awesome,
I
I
guess.
think. Yeah.
It's been funny like having the contractors come in, and every single one has asked me where my husband is. And
Mary, tell us about how they talk to you. Tell us how the contractors talk to you, please.
Oh my God. There's one guy who was dropping off, I think it was like an AC unit and it's pretty heavy. So it was on like a pallet. So he like drops it off in front of my home. I like come outside and he like looks at me and he's like, "Oh, you ain't got a man in there to lift this?" And let me tell you, I've never summoned more strength in my body than that. Like those 5 seconds, I could have lifted 7 of this AC units in front of him. I summoned so much strength. I was like, "You watch me lift this goddamn unit."
That feminine rage goes a long way, man.
And Mary, how about you're an architect, so when you actually that started this episode, honestly, and the way we started this episode is Mary saying kind of off cuff, like. It's not that hard, bitches. It's like there's like fucking I don't know what the big fucking deal is. There's different systems to a house, right? There's the electrical system, there's the plumbing system, there's the structural elements, and then there's the coverings. Like I don't know if I had those right, Mary. I am guessing, but you're like it's not that fucking hard. Like these are like stages and skins, and like each one has some details, but like it's not that hard. And so. Obviously, Mary, you're coming into this knowing a lot more about, I think, how homes are constructed than the average person. So, like, when the contractors meet you, I feel like they're walking on landmines that they don't even know. Right? They have no idea.
That has been a thing where I am not someone who likes to kind of like interject and like butt in initially. I like to maybe just be a little bit more aloof's not the right word, but I don't want to tell someone what to do. But I do know what they are doing when I'm watching them. So I guess, some of the contractors have been interesting. I will say one or two things that gives them the indication like, oh, she might know what she's talking about. And then once we get into it, then they open up. It's actually been interesting to see how aloof they are initially until I kind of quote unquote prove myself, which is something that I really resent having to do because I don't think any homeowner should have to do that. But it was funny. I was saying there's one contractor who was definitely pretty aloof, when he was texting, just one word answers. And then I was showing him, it's very nerdy, but I was showing him this new impact driver I got because it's hydraulic. So it's ultra quiet. It doesn't make the really loud noise for impact drivers. And I was like, look how cool this thing is. And it's and he was like, oh, do you know how to use it? I was like, yeah, look how this, look at how quiet it is. I'm trying to get him very excited. And then he starts to talk about tools with me. And he's like, oh, are you a woodworker? And we get down this whole rabbit hole. And then he opens up completely, makes jokes, in his text, he'll write LOL to me. I'm like,
See,
okay,
but in that
is he
instance,
hitting on you?
Well, I don't think so.
That's a whole other pie to cut into.
Did you
there.
hear something? Okay, great.
Oh my god.
No, but I do think in that instance there are people who assume that everybody doesn't know everything or anything or feel like they get looked down on a lot, and then when somebody is like, oh, check out this new impact driver that just came out. That's super dope. They're like, oh shit, we got something to talk about. Let's ride.
That's
man.
true. It's common ground.
You know? Yeah. It's an exciting thing of oh, okay, we're gonna be in this house, just the two of us, for the next 8 hours. I'm glad we have some commonality to shoot the shit.
Yeah, I can't really blame the guy for kind of assuming most homeowners don't really know the details, because I think a lot of homeowners don't.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, and I don't want to minimize and say that sexism doesn't play a part in that with a lot of people. Of course it does.
Yeah.
But I also, a lot of homeowners don't know shit about fuck. You know, that's a hard thing to navigate when you're just silently working away and they're staring over your shoulder and they're like, well, why did you do that? You're like, can I please just do my job for 10 minutes?
Yeah.
So,
but I do want to clarify, when I had said that homes aren't that hard, I meant
please
clarify, Mary.
Please add some gasoline to that.
I did not mean to say that it's easy, because it hasn't been. It's not been easy. I understand that it's just a lot of there's been a lot of complexities, but I will say that compared to our world of design, there's a right way to do things in construction. There's a right and wrong, and there's creative ways to get to the right answer. But versus being in design and that being completely subjective of what the quote unquote right thing is. And especially in my everyday job, UX design, I have to try and predict user behavior and think about psychology of people. That is something that's so hard to say there's a right or wrong or black and white, etc. So in construction, at least there's something concrete that I can be okay, yep, that is not going to kill me.
Well, there's a code, right? We have code for a reason, to try to have some standards. And if in there are skills that allow you to build more efficiently and allow you to hit code more accurately. But yeah, like there's a playbook in front of you of like, if X, then Y.
Sure.
Right, exactly.
So, Mary, how do you see a house? Like, as an architect, do you see a house as like a semblance of like 3 or 4 systems that are like integrated into it? Like, how do you see a house?
Are you asking what the definition of a house is?
Oh shit! I think I did. Oh my god, this is a good one.
A house or a home?
Wow, those are different things.
Yes, both,
They are
please.
different things, yeah. A house, I don't know. A house is it's a structure. It's got structural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing. Like it's, I don't have a definition for a house, but it's like where it's where you spend your time. It's where you fix things up and make it to your standard, I guess. And that's when it becomes a home, when you make it your own.
I see.
Like
And
a house is a structure itself. A home is your own personal
And
abode.
when you see your house or whatever, do you see it as just like this series of systems that are like integrated into the walls, like as if like you've seen those images of the human body where you see all the blood vessels, and then another human body where you see like the organs, and another human body where you see like the fat tissue. Is that how you see a home? Like you see the plumbing in
Hold
one
on. Is that how you see a person, Paul?
Well, no, you've seen those diagrams, Eric.
Yeah, I will say that is actually similar to how I, as an architect, see it, because I remember seeing the structural plans and the electrical and the plumbing, and I remember all of the like details that I had to draw in CAD of like just all the like extremely fine construction details, and that is kind of how I view it in my mind. I know that's not maybe everyone's definition, but coming from an architectural background, I do see it as these kinds of layers of what makes up a building. A home, I would say, is different. Home is like more emotional, personal, etc. But house, yes, I think.
Is your house, is it a home yet, or is it somewhere in transition?
It's in transition. There's some rooms that I think are definitely homey.
Okay.
Will it ever be done?
Well,
Eric, how about you? Wait,
my house is.
How do you feel about yours?
I don't. So the question I was about to ask is like, how much does intention play a role in that? And what I mean by that is, I bought my house because it was where I wanted to be. It's a good neighborhood, but like when I bought it, I knew that I wasn't going to be here forever. And I'm wondering if the idea of long-term investment versus short-term investment plays a role in that.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Big
my house is a home because my shit is in it, and and it's like it's to some extent a gallery of my work. But I haven't made large alterations to the structure of the house because I'm not willing to invest that type of capital in this house because it's not my quote forever home.
How do you know that?
So it's just a thing, Like
you just feel it.
I'm not going to be in the city forever. I love the city, and I'm glad I've been in the city for about 10 years now, and I think it has been exactly what I needed it to be. But like I'm a barefoot in the grass and meander around the trees kind of boy. Like I'm not a city boy in my soul, and I just know that I'm not going to be in the city forever. And I don't know.
Yeah, he's gonna come out near me.
Nah, that's it. Like you're flirting with the suburbs and murder me now. Okay,
Eric, where are you going to be, in the fucking mountains somewhere?
Oh, if one day you just never hear from me again, that's how you know I've made it, or I've been murdered. Those are the two options.
Oh my god!
I was just out in the mountains somewhere. No, I need some more space, and I need a place where like I can see myself being for more than a decade, and then I can put the emotional investment in the house itself to turn it into a home, rather than the objects that exist in the house, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get it. Mary, is that your forever home, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, a forever home is hard to say, but I plan on spending a good amount of time here, especially how much money I've invested in it. I when I was looking for a house, it took me probably 7 months. I think six, yeah, 6 or 7 months, maybe 8 months, to actually find a house that I liked. I was really picky about what I wanted. Um, so yes, I think I bought this house with the intention of like making it my own, fixing it up, and probably living here for a while unless something goes like drastically wrong or like something in my life really changes, which is always possible. But I also just wanted I wanted a house that was my own because I was tired of renting. I was tired of like
Yeah.
living in someone else's space that I didn't feel fully comfortable with. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, sure, I could paint some walls, but that's I don't know. It's just kind of a pain. So yeah, I mean, as of right now, it's a forever home. That could change.
Paul, how long have you been in that house?
20 years.
And your daughter grew up from the get-go in that house. Like
Oh, yeah.
that's your forever home.
It is.
You know,
We don't-
you ain't going
yeah.
anywhere.
No,
and
we
you
wanna
know
die.
that.
We know that. We
And-
want to
and
die.
so-
we want to
so-
die here.
Oh, buddy, I don't want to talk about you dying right now. Don't make me emotional. But the investment that you make in the structure of that house, it's not an economic decision, it's an emotional decision, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
Totally.
it's the same thing that like my mother does now, where my grandfather built that house. She's been in that house since 1980. All of us grew up in that house. And when she does things, when she renovates things and updates things, like we're at that point where we're like, listen, girl, live your fucking life. Like we know you're gonna die in that house. You're gonna be in there, Lord willing, if the creek don't rise, like another 30 years. So whatever it's not about the economic. We're not worried about what it sells for in 30 years. We're worried about like, how do you feel being in that space for the rest of your life?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
I also maintain that like you should not live in your home for the next owner. You should
But
you
so
should
many
make the
people do
space.
that.
So
So many
many
people
do.
do. And that just
Right?
like it just feels like such a waste. Like make it your own. The next owner can always change it, or like you can do minor changes before you sell. But like why else do you live in a space? Like why else would you
Yeah, I think
own a
that's
home?
I don't I understand the idea of making a home an investment, and you just make it all neutral so the next person likes it. But like
Ugh.
that's not at all how I think about this house. I mean, you both have been here.
How do you think about that house?
Well, let me tell you, I bought it from a newspaper ad. It was in the classifieds of the Boston Globe.
In
In the
1956, yeah. It was the post-war era.
Okay.
FDR had just signed the New Deal.
Like you both and I were, you and I both.
They had
were just
actually,
like, yep,
fun
this
fact,
is-
they had just invented newspapers, so it was a new technology.
Oh, you two are so young and so funny.
Yeah,
Oh
right
my
off the
God.
printing press.
You two are so hip and young. Oh my God. I hate both of you. So yes, it was in the Boston Globe classifieds. I'm not even kidding. The newspaper, yes. And it was for sale by owner. And we just came and we just were like, we looked around. The owners were there. It was just us, no realtors at all. We looked around and under the dining room table, I caught my wife's eye and I like nodded yes. Like
Hold on. Paint me a more specific picture here.
Did you
under
go
the
under?
dining room table?
Sorry,
What the fuck were you looking at?
We're looking around. We're just like kind of looking at the vents and the trim, and I'm kind of like looking around. And then I caught like I had just kneeled down to like I think look at the vent or the china cabinet, and I caught her eye under the table, and I like nodded my head enthusiastically because you don't want to say it in front of the owners.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's how it happened, and they said, okay, here's what we're asking, and we said okay, and we just hired a lawyer to draft the paperwork, and it was done. No, there was zero, what do you call realtors involved, which was awesome.
So in that moment when you knew that you wanted to buy that house,
It felt so fucking
and she
right.
was in there. It was the energy. It was like you saw the vision.
Yes.
Did you know in that moment that it was your forever home?
I don't know that I thought about it. That thought hadn't occurred to me. And so then, over the years now, I've been here 20 years. I think once my daughter was born and we made the house more our own, meaning in fact, like Mary, like you were saying earlier, that like previous owners kind of like do shitty things to houses. And
Mhm.
this is a historic home, 1915, just like yours.
Aw,
Um,
twins.
every time we did anything on the house, we would roll it back. We would honor it. We would get the correct materials, only the best materials, do it the right way. We would demodernize the house, as it were. I know
Mhm.
that's a design decision. Don't come after me. But that was, we stripped doors, we stripped paint, we stripped so much lead paint out of the
Oh,
house,
that's what I have to
right?
do.
Because the woodwork was southern yellow longleaf pine, this beautiful pine that was all over the United States in the early 1900s and 1800s, and it was harvested to near extinction. It is the most beautiful pine you'll ever see. Super amazing 20-foot long lengths of pure straight quartersawn grain with like a
Mhm.
heartwood and a sapwood color that is contrasting. It's not a softwood. It's definitely more like walnut consistency, kind of a medium hardwood, if you think about it. It's so beautiful. And they slathered paint all over it and they put formica on the countertops and they did all kinds of atrocious things. And then as we would take an opportunity to make this home, improve it, every time we would roll it back, original materials,
Mhm.
correct period stuff, only the highest quality. And I did all the work myself because I couldn't trust contractors to do the right thing, or I didn't
Mhm.
believe they would. So, and I said, I'll do it myself. I love this home so much. I don't want to risk someone fucking it up. This house deserves better, is kind of
Yeah.
how I felt about it. So I wound
Yeah,
up doing everything myself.
when I've looked for contractors, I've made sure that they have worked on historic homes and like that is their specialty because and I will say like for the most part I've had really good interactions with contractors because I've done that research where they're like, yeah, new construction is just like awful and they're like, I as much of a pain as this house is, I'd rather take this over new
Me
construction any
too.
day.
Me too. And I think you get used to the idiosyncrasies. Like
Mhm.
joists are not 16 inches on center. Joists
Right.
are 2x4s.
Got
There's
all plaster and lath.
yeah, the plaster and lath, and there's all this hair in it, and you're like, what are all these
Yeah,
tiny hairs? Oh,
exactly.
it's
The horsehair.
horsehair plaster. There's
Uh-huh.
literally fucking horsehair in the walls.
Yep.
Like
Gotta
what?
have a fiber, man. Gotta
Right?
have a
Mhm.
fiber.
There's asbestos in the house. I had to have that removed. There's knob and
Did you have
tube.
asbestos?
Yeah, some of the wraps around the ducts and
You
the
got
Oh, that makes sense.
asbestos in that
Okay.
house, Mary. You just don't know it
No, because
yet.
asbestos was only became popular in the 20s on, and well, it may have been updated after that, but for the most part, there isn't asbestos in this house. There's lead for sure.
And I've
Oh
I've
yeah.
had I've had many things sent off for testing because I
Yeah.
do all the work myself. So I've sent everything off for
Mm.
testing before I did the DIY myself because I'm not about to get
That is a smart
mesothelioma.
thing that I've never done and probably should.
And it's not that expensive. There's labs. The only way asbestos can be detected is by a microscopic examination, is by seeing it,
Mm.
because it's kind of an inert mineral. And so what they do is they look under a particular microscope and they can see it. And so you just send it off to a lab and they get back to you in about 3 or 4 days. And it's like $60, I think. It's really not that big a deal. And so
Okay.
every time there was like things in the bathroom or the kitchen or let's say the mastic, like the adhesives or sealing material, anywhere you suspect there
Mhm.
could be asbestos, I sent it away. And of course, the house is entirely sided in asbestos cement
Of
shingles
course.
underneath
Of course.
underneath the vinyl that guess who put on? Myself. I sided the house about 10, 12 years ago. And so because I'm nailing through asbestos cement fiber, I had to wear a respirator while I sided the
Mhm.
entire house, which is like,
Wow.
what? It's crazy.
Dang.
But these are the kind of sacrifices you make for a home, right?
Yeah, it's because you love the place.
I love it. My daughter's height is on the door. I look at that dining room table and I see you, Eric. I see Mary. I see the brunch we had. I see countless dinners with friends and family, like there's thousands too many. And I've watched my daughter, we all have our own chair. I don't know if you guys do that. Like you have your chair, right?
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
And that's your, and like, that's like a thing. And you can see her growing up from like a 3-year-old to now an almost 18-year-old in that same chair, and engaging, trying to pretend like she, is adult and can engage in conversations, when she's a little, it's just was, it becomes almost a lightning rod or like a microcosm of your memories about your family and your friends. And so that's when it really turns the page, I'd say, from just an investment, let's say, oh, I'm going to sell it, to like, I don't ever want to leave here. And the thought of someone else living here gives my wife nightmares. She's like, I can't even imagine 50 years from now another family living in our home. She's like, it haunts me at night. And I was like, well,
she's like, when I die, I'm going to burn that bitch down. Light a match in there. All that southern yellow pine's going to go up.
So, so for me, it's a home. Go ahead.
Can I ask, Eric, like when you walked into your house, did you have a similar reaction as Paul? Like, did you know it was going to be your house? I remember you telling the story of like you walking around.
Yeah,
and, like,
no. I bought this house in 2021, which was the right time to buy a house economically, but the market was hot. So I walked into an open house and I walked around and I saw exactly what I saw, which was a house that had been a rental for a large number of years and renovated sometime in the 90s. So I knew, like, down in the basement, I could poke around a little bit, and I knew it was structurally sound. Aesthetically, dog shit. And so I walked in, poked around for a few minutes, and was like, okay, that's a house. Called him up. This is, I don't know, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Called him up about 5 o'clock, and I said, like, hey, like, I'd be interested in that house because I was thinking if I stayed there for somewhere in the range of 5 to 10 years, I could renovate some things. It'll hold its value. It's a great neighborhood. And I do love my neighborhood.
It's true. I do miss it.
It's such a great, like, I know all of my neighbors. It's such, like, Paul, I think it's the closest thing to what your neighborhood could feel like in a major city. Like, my neighborhood's phenomenal. But I literally, like, I called him up and I said, like, hey, I was thinking about potentially putting in an offer. And this was 5 hours after the house went on the market. And they said, we already have 8 offers and the owners are trying to make a decision at 8 p.m. So if you want to do it fucking now. I said, okay, let me find an agent real quick. Let me just call some people up. And by 8:05 or 8:30, I think it was, I was literally in the grocery store signing documents to like put in an offer on the house. And
unreal.
That's
and
how
you got it.
I got it. I mean, literally 6 hours after I saw the place.
Wow. Do you know if there are other bids?
I think there were 10 bids, I think was the total.
10?
Yeah. Wow. And the thing is like, I like the house. The house was built in 1870, 1860, somewhere in that range. It's interesting. It's not cookie cutter bullshit, although it's as close to cookie cutter bullshit as they could get 150 years ago. And like, it's the right size for me. I don't want a big house, like my house is 800 square feet. It's the size of some people's kitchens.
Not mine.
But it fits what I need it to do. But I also knew when I bought the house, like, I wasn't going to grow old here, And so what I'm wondering right now is it seems like we have different levels of emotional investments in our houses. Like, Paul, you're going to be there.
I'm all in
until you're not here anymore.
I am all in, Eric.
Right?
I couldn't be more all in on this house. Yes.
And Mary, like, it sounds like you're at a point where you're like, I'll be here for a number of years because of the financial investment. And you're like, a couple of things you haven't said on the pod so far, like, there are elements of the house that you fell in love with. The radiators.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
The moldings, some of the weird angles, and some of the weird shit that you can play with and turn into Mary.
Yeah, as soon as I walked in, that, like, I mean, it was god awful, like in terms of like the plaster ceiling had like this like swirl pattern. I was like, oh, my eyes are assaulted. But like as soon as I saw the stained glass and like the ornamental like radiators, I was like, this is the kind of like feeling that I've been looking for in the houses that I haven't found so far. And it's actually pretty funny because I had just gotten back from my Italy trip, and my realtor was like, I could not tell if you like this house at all, because I was so jet lagged. I saw it the day I got back, and I was like, I love it, and like with no emotion on my face. He's like, I thought you hated it. I was like, no, I am so tired.
Mary's like, I'm a tough read.
So,
just so
yeah,
you know.
well, it's preach. Okay, so it sounds like you had some level of emotional investment and excitement in the place, and I imagine therefore the things that you invest in that house will have more weight or value. You know what I'm trying to get at. Whereas like when I bought my house, I was just grateful to be able to afford a house, and this was within my budget. And there was a house literally 3 doors down that I liked better, and it was like another 15 or 20,000, and I was like, well, that's outside the budget, so like I'm not gonna overstretch myself.
Well, good for you sticking to the budget.
Well, sure. Like I cared more and still do care about living within the thing that is comfortable and like the means that I know that I have, rather than
a lot of
feeling
people
stressed.
don't do that,
Rather than feeling
insane.
stressed about like making the mortgage every month just so that people think I have a cooler house. You
Yeah,
know?
that was also another thing for this house too. It was a little under my budget, and I knew that there was going to be a lot of work that needed to be done. So I was like, I'm okay with this. Like it's there's a lot of work that needs to be done. It's pretty significant, but because it's under my budget, I'm willing to invest in this. So it felt good.
So that brings me to the question that like I'm trying to get at is the type of investment that we make, specifically in the DIY, not necessarily in contracting it out. What is the level of design stress that you feel when like trying to work within the boundaries of what the house gives you? Like, Paul,
Huge.
you're like, yeah, like I owe this house something. I'm out here like, I know this house, again, renovated in the 90s. My staircase, the stairs up to the second floor are unfinished red oak, and they're not even trimmed out. They're literal gaps from the runners to the risers, because whoever fucked that shit up was just like, nobody's gonna fall in that hole. So like, and I just haven't fixed it yet because I'm like, there's other shit I got to do. You know?
Well, as you get more attached to the home, the ante goes up, right? It's like at first when I owned the home, I wasn't that discriminating or discerning, but over time, as I became a woodworker, I was not a woodworker when I bought this home. Like I didn't know my ass from my elbow about woodworking. And so, as I became a woodworker and as I started investing, then it really started to ratchet up the pressure to give it the best materials and the best workmanship. And now it's to the point, Eric, where I can't make a move in this house without like extensive research, gathering of historic materials, reclaiming all of those materials, Adobe designing, Adobe
Thank you for paying my salary.
Drafting like mock-ups. We do extensive mock-ups like digitally to see if we're going to like it before we do it. And now it's like every move we make is fucking ginormous effort, right? And it's worth it because when you see it, you almost don't even know that it's not original to the home.
Yeah, you have done a really wonderful job in that house, to your credit. Here's my question.
But there, I will say, and let's get back to your question. There's a price to be paid for that.
Literally.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What's your question?
Well, so what I'm wondering is, paint me a picture. Last project you completed for the home versus the first project you completed for the home. Because again, you've been in there 20 years.
Yep, 20 years. First project I completed for the home, I put in a disposal in the kitchen sink, and that sounds easy, but the kitchen sink is is 110 years old, and it doesn't necessarily
It's not
fit a
made
modern
for that,
disposal.
yeah.
So, and there was this brass collar on it that was frozen in place, like corroded to fuck. And I was under there with my 80-year-old neighbor Hal, who taught me woodworking. He's like, "Oh, you just got to cut that shit off with a hacksaw." And so I'm like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "I'm sure." And so we start cutting. And the first thing I did is I cut the water supply pipe. I started with that.
Oh no!
I hope you killed the main, like,
because I didn't know
Oh
what
no!
pipe was what. I didn't know
my
anything.
God.
I was so new. And he's like, "I don't think we wanted to cut that."
Can I just say, big fan of Hal. Love his energy.
So water starts squirting everywhere, and I'm like, turn the water off. We had to do a solder repair. We put a sleeve over the cut and then soldered it in place, which he taught me soldering and sweating copper. And then we cut the frozen flange around the sink, and I put the disposal in. So that's like an example of the first project. Now, fast forward 20 years, the last project. In our dining room, we want beautiful beadboard, right? But I am not. Listen to me, motherfuckers. I am not about to go to Home Depot or Lowe's and buy some plastic or MDF shit beadboard and staple it to these fucking walls. No way, no how. You'll have to bury me before I do that, because
that horse is tall, baby.
this house deserves better. Okay. So what does that mean for me? Oh boy, what does that mean? It means finding a huge hoard of southern yellow longleaf pine, antique, right? Finding that. I had half of it from a neighbor's, like, who had a farmhouse in upstate New York, and I drove all the way there. It's a ripped out kitchen floor, and I brought it all the way back. So I had that squirreled away. And then I had to go around Boston and find even more. Then I have to take off whatever's on it. God knows what was on it. Take out every piece of metal, take every piece of flooring, give it 5 operations in the shop. So cut off the tongue and groove, cut it in half, plain joint, plain, get it to stock. Now you have to make the beads. You have to make the beadboard again, new from scratch. So you buy Freud beading bits, and which is a set of 2, that cuts the bead, and it's another 3 or 4 router operations to get the beads back in this flooring that you have repurposed. And then I'm feeling all proud of myself, like proud as a peacock. And I walk into that dining room and I show my wife, "Oh, look at Daddy came with the goods," right? It's like feeling all good. I'm like, "Check it out," right? And I hold it up to the wall, and it doesn't match at all, because this pine is freshly surfaced. Yeah, it might be 200-year-old pine, but it's freshly surfaced. It's bright as the sun compared to the 100-year-old trim in the same room that's oxidized for a century. And we both look at it and we're like, this doesn't match at all. Like, not even close. Like, you can't install that. And I'm like, yeah, I just spent 2 months like making this. And I'm like, oh shit. So I have to like swallow my pride, right? And I'm like, okay, we can solve this problem. We can fix this. We're going to age it with shellac. We're going to use different types of shellac. I have like garnet shellac, which is one of the most unrefined cuts of shellac. It's very dark. I can trans-tint dye it with a little brown, and we can like age it. And I had to take all 250 slats, one at a time, by hand, and stain each one 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And it's darkening by a tone every time until I fucking nail it, until it just matches perfectly, right? And then that's another month of just standing there in my shop with shellac and gloves and a fucking brush, and just like, and I started spraying it a little bit, but like nothing was easy. And eventually I matched it, and it looks original. Like, you cannot tell that didn't come with the house, but
it's true.
God, did I pay a price for that? Oh my God. And you say, well, do you regret it, Paul? No, I don't, but boy, I didn't know what price I was signing up for.
Sure, but would any of us do any of these things if we knew, like beforehand how much of the investment it would be? But I'm curious about that because Mary, you've only been in your house 6 months. I've been in my house, I don't know, 4 years, something like that. When I do renovations in this house, I bear in mind how I want the house to look. Like, I don't give a fuck what the next person wants, but I do have to calculate the fact that like my financial and time and emotional investment in the space. So when I do things like I had these atrocious tiles in the kitchen.
Yeah, you did.
Atrocious.
I remember.
And the countertops, for those for folks listening, my countertops in the kitchen are still tile. It's dog
that is
shit.
crazy.
It's wild. Okay, but this is what I've been, and I have the countertops, but I haven't had the time to put new ones in. But when I laid down the new floating floor on top of those tiles, Paul, you immediately texted me and you were like, what is that dog shit you're laying down in the kitchen? Like, what is this?
Eric.
What is this? What is this fake plastic flooring you're laying down in the kitchen?
Eric, what are you doing?
And hey, you have a very fair point to make there.
But also intention matters, like you said.
Like, if I was going to be here for the next 50 years, of course I would do a thing. Like, this is,
I get it.
I haven't renovated certain parts of this house because I want to do something nicer.
Yeah.
But like, it comes a point where it's just like, I can't look at this kitchen floor any longer, and I just need a patch for a while.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
I'm kind of in between, I would say. Like, there are some areas of this house, like my living and dining room, that I'm like really investing time and money in. But like, for example, this bathroom on the upstairs was like a nightmare, and it does have Home Depot beadwork. I will say there was a moment of real growth where where the plumber had to rip up some tile, and it's just like this shitty kind of like porcelain tile from Lowe's or Home Depot or something, and I had to replace a few of them, and I like looked at it and it was not a perfect match, and I have to say, real moment of growth where the contractor puts it down and I'm like, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. I will deal with it. And like I painted the bathroom to make it like up to a certain standard, but like it's eventually going to have to all get torn out because I know there's no waterproofing underneath the floor. Like, I know that they didn't do a good job with like the plumbing and everything. Like, I made it manageable, and it is maybe quote unquote a patch. And I know eventually I will have to tear it out and like really spend the investment in time and money. But for now, it's fine. So it kind of depends on the room.
Mary, I feel like your home might sneak up on you. And what I mean by that is you think like it's okay for now. Yeah, it's good. I think I'll stay here for a while. But I think as you get more and more invested in it, you may really grow to love that house, and you may never leave.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I could see that. The neighborhood is pretty good. Like, Eric, my neighbors are all great.
I saw your face, Eric.
Oh yeah, she's gonna fall in love with that house.
Yeah, I had the feeling too.
Yeah. It's gonna be like a soft, broken-in blanket where she's just like, "This is my thing now."
Well,
I mean, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, actually, that brings up a point about home renovations and seeing the possibilities that I've always noticed with homeowners. When you're fresh to a home, when you're new, you see every possibility. I'm going to knock out this wall. We're going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put that porch on, and we're going to paint it. We're going to rip out the windows. We're going to put a dungeon in, whatever you.
That took a hard left. There was Freudian. Now that I think about it, Paul, we've been friends, fucking close to 10 years? I've never been in your basement. What's down there, buddy?
We're going to talk about it. We'll talk about that in the after show.
Is that the after show?
So when people are new, they want to put a dungeon in their house. But then as you get that warm, cozy blanket, like as it becomes more and more familiar, you just accept the imperfections and idiosyncrasies. You just accept them. Like, that's my house. And they become invisible. And you don't I think over time you lose that fire in your belly to like improve this and improve that and knock out this wall. So have you guys noticed that?
I've noticed that a little bit I mean, I haven't been here that long. I've lived in this house for 2 months so far, so it's still way too new. But I remember like when I first bought it, I was like, oh, I'm gonna like level all the floors. I'm like gonna make sure, like whatever. And I was like, this house is so old. Like it's been standing for this long. It does not need to be leveled. Like sure, because I have not lived in a house that is this old before and like has all of these things to be addressed. So like I know houses settle. But in my mind I was like, I'm gonna fix all of this. But now I'm just like, there's no way I'm gonna do that. There's just no need, first off.
That's what
And
I'm talking about, right?
yeah, and like if it was structural, sure, that's something else.
Sure.
That's something to be addressed. But like it's been standing for this long. It's not gonna fall down.
Yeah, my brother-in-law recently said to me, "Have you noticed that huge crack in the stairwell?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's, you know what? Hasn't fallen down yet.
No, it's only like an inch wide. It's fine."
Yeah, don't fall in.
So, I did a little research prior to this episode on like, DIY and what percent of people do their own work. Imagine that. Americans spend apparently over $600 billion with a B dollars annually on home renovation. So it's like almost $1 trillion, maybe like half.
What year was that?
I don't know actually.
I'm curious if it's still the case given the economy.
I'd also be really curious if you took the top like 5% out of that.
Yeah.
What that turns into.
Sure. You know? And they said an estimated 75% of homeowners attempt DIY projects themselves. So 3 out of 4 people.
How many of them finish it?
that I don't have the stat, and I would love that stat. They said most people do it for cost purposes. That is the primary driver.
Sure.
And I think it varies whether you DIY by your generation. So I sort of looked generationally.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's say baby boomers, right? They were born, that's the generation older than me, who would be my parents' generation. It said most likely to hire professionals, probably because they're old and have money, is my guess. Focusing on major renovations for age-in-place adaptations, but still do some DIY, though, less than the younger generations. Makes sense. They're older. They have the money to pay for it. Totally makes sense.
I think also as they age, they are probably aging out of some of the things that we would consider DIYing ourselves. Mm-hmm. And they're like, our bodies just can't do that anymore.
Right.
Also, just like accessibility to information, our generation is so used to looking stuff up.
Okay, Mary, you just teed up the next. Okay, so hold that thought. Stick a pin in that. So next after baby boomers is Gen X. That's me. All right. My generation often rely on spouses and partners to help them do things. It's just totally fucking true. Vicky is like my wing woman on every project.
Yeah.
I mean, totally. She's right there with me. And if she's not, I'm like, dude, where are you? I need you. I couldn't believe it said that, because that is us to a T. We do the projects together, the two of us, everything.
That's actually really fucking adorable.
Honestly, Eric, I need the help. I can't figure out all the problems and like reach for all the tools and go get things. And I really do need her help to hold things. And like, you just need more than one pair of hands. Less likely to DIY complex tasks than their younger groups, but more than boomers. So somewhere in between. All right. Now you guys are millennials?
Yep.
Okay, millennials. High engagement in DIY, completing many projects around 5 per year, often to save money and build equity, using digital tutorials heavily. Mary.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the number of times where my parents have asked me something and I'm just like, just Google it. And it never crosses their mind to ever Google something. Although my dad has discovered ChatGPT, which is both a blessing and a curse. But yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you? Like, everyone has so many tutorials of how to do shit all different kinds of way on YouTube. Of course you're going to attempt it, because if you're going to attempt it and it goes wrong, then call someone. But like, it is kind of crazy to not make that initial first pass.
Can we come back to your dad and ChatGPT?
Oh yeah. That's an after show moment.
He's like, how do I get my Asian daughter to admit she was wrong?
I'm not
And then-
ChatGPT. Like, how do I get
And
my
then
Asian parents to admit that they
ChatGPT
were
is
wrong?
like, well, are you an Asian parent? Well, let's start there.
I'm sorry, there is no answer to your question.
One cannot divide by 0.
All right, and then we have Gen Z, the youngest generation, which is this high digital fluency, TikTok, YouTube, but sometimes lacks traditional skills, leading to hiring
I could see
pros
that.
for basic tasks like changing bulbs. I'm not sure about that, but
Okay, so let me ask this, because as you're saying this, like, I'm thinking less necessarily about like the generational aspects of how we grew up, and more just maybe where we are as a generation in this moment, where, like, flashback 30 years, I feel like we remember our parents, and maybe everybody's parents are different, obviously, but cars came with manuals on how to repair them, and they attempted shit, you know. They like took out a window and they tried to put a new one in, and if it went wrong, they could call somebody to come replace them. And then as they've grown older, they can't physically do those things anymore. And the Gen Xers might be at a place where, like, they're still capable of doing things, but they know, like, hey, if you've ever been under a sink replacing some shit and trying to pull out some, like, if you've ever bitched about people using plastic parts in plumbing and then you've not tried to take out a frozen brass component under a sink, go fuck yourself, because you don't know how difficult that is. And hey, you don't want to get up out of a sink cabinet when you're lying on your back at a weird angle, so you go, hey Vicky, could you hand me the fucking wrench right there, please?
You need your wing
Totally
woman.
fair.
Yeah,
totally fair. And now millennials are at a moment where we have gotten into the home buying process. And of course there's arguments to be made about how these things are getting pushed later and later in life, but we're firmly in the home buying stage as a generation. And we go, shit, we just spent all our money on the house. Maybe we just figure it the fuck out for a minute. And Gen Zers are where we were 20 years ago, 15 years ago, where everybody was like, millennials are so lazy. And now I see all these TikToks about how we as millennials were like, we would show up to work, not even hungover from the night before, still fucking drunk, and like having we're fighting for our lives in the bathroom, trying not to throw up, but we had a work ethic. And it's like, did we? Because that's what Gen Zers are going to be saying about themselves in 15 years. I'm just wondering if this is just the flow of life, I guess.
I think it is, because every generation seems to say the same thing. Now, one thing that became clear to me about that assessment of like the different generations and how much they do is like, well, the boomers kind of knew how to do stuff. It was more part of their general lexicon.
They
right?
were taught to repair
yes.
things. Yeah.
Me as Gen X, we were an in between. We were a transitional. We were the first generation to grow up with computers. I was the first computer kid. I remember when the internet started. Like, it's crazy to say that. I was in college when the internet started.
Back
that's
when
nuts.
they were still in the classifieds? Is that how you found out about the internet? They put a classified out in the Boston Globe?
For those that don't have the video feed, I'm flipping Eric off. But one thing that became clear to me is that when I bought my house, Hal, who was, I think he's even before the boomer generation. Like, he was 80 at the time, and that was a while ago. He took it upon himself to give me the gift of knowledge, like showing me, this is how you solder copper pipe. It's not that difficult. You cut it, you steel wool it, you flux it, you heat it, and you put the solder in and you test it. Like, no problem. And he showed me, and we tried it a bunch of times. This is how you wire electrical. He showed me. This is how you woodwork. He showed me. He gave me like this incredible gift of like every project on my house that I had. He was there. He's like, I'm in. Let's figure this out. I'll show you. And it was like such an incredible gift as a new homeowner. I was so thankful. And he gave me the ability to feel like I could do anything, right? And I've carried that on because I do all my own plumbing. I do almost all my own electrical, as long as it's fairly simple. I won't change a box out, but I will add circuits and do some basic electrical. Of course, he was an electrical engineer, so he told me the code. So plumbing, electrical, structural. He gave me that gift, and now the people who bought his home, this is really interesting. The people who bought his home, they're like 20, they were 27 at the time. This is about a year or two ago. I think they're 28 or 29 now. And they don't know how to do any of that, right? Of course, when did they have the time? They're only 20. They're like in their fucking 20s, right? Like, when did they have the time to figure this stuff out? So one of them says to me, our porch is rotting. What do we do? And I come over and I look at their porch, and I built my porch, and that was a total fucking debacle, and I'll tell you about that another time. But no, it worked out well in the end. But boy, was I scared, and I'll bring that up. But I said, okay, the first thing we have to do, and I kind of took them through. I'm like, it's easy to change the floorboards, but the question is the structure stable and safe, right? Is it, can you just change the floorboards? And I'm like, that's a more complex question. So we're going to have to take some up and look at the frame and just see how things are. And I taught him, I said, what kind of flooring do you want? Do you want like super quick, easy Home Depot pressure treated? Or do you want cedar? Or do you want like Ipe? Like the Rolls Royce of wood, right? In terms of, and one's like $1,000 and one's $3,000 and one's $5,000 in terms of just material. And I give them the credit. They opted for the most expensive. They're like, we love this home. We want to do right by it.
Well, in fairness, if they're 27 and they just bought a home, they probably got money to do Ipe decking. Like, I'm assuming.
No. They know, and they just had a baby too. It's like,
I'm not trying to shit on them. Just
no, but they're like, we want a budget for things that matter to us, which is quality in our home. And so he didn't know how to do woodworking, and I showed him. I'm like, we have to drill pilot holes. We have to do this, and I showed him how to install decking, and we did the first half of the deck together, and I felt like I was able to pay back some of that knowledge that like Hal gave me. And the ironic part is it's on his house.
I was going to say, and putting it back into his home.
It's the new owners of his house. It's so crazy. And some of the tools he gave me are the tools we're using to teach his new homeowners how.
That's a nice full circle moment.
The best part is when his name's Aaron, the husband, he finished the deck and his wife's standing there with a baby, only like 8 months old, and he finished it, and he remarked to me, he's like, I have such a sense of empowerment that now that I did this, I feel like I can do so much more in my own home. I just didn't know. Yes. And I was like, this is it. Yes. Like, this is the gift that Hal gave me. And I was even in small part, I mean, I haven't told him electrical and plumbing and all that, but like at least in terms of woodworking, I could like pay that back and see that younger generation. It says millennials, they use a lot of technology, but they don't really have the skills, or Gen Z. He's kind of on the edge of Gen Z.
Yeah, you've become his Hal.
Yes, and it feels so. It feels really good to me. And they're taking us out to dinner at the end of this week to thank us. It was such a feel good like story because it came full circle over 20 years, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. See, I wish I had someone like that. I think that
that's a big part of it. We didn't have people like that.
Yeah, the reason my parents are so incapable of anything handy that my brother and I both took it upon ourselves to try to be as handy. I mean, I'm not like the most handiest, but I am handier than I think.
You're
like
pretty handy.
You're handier than you give yourself
Mary,
credit
you're
for,
pretty
for
handy.
sure. Yeah.
Is that handy or handsy?
Well,
that's Eric.
How did I take a stray there? What the fuck did I do?
In his dungeon.
But like my brother and I like saw how incapable our parents were, that we're like, we have to make this part of our like personalities of like trying to learn as much as possible of like how to, I can't fix cars, my brother can, but like woodworking, and like I went to school for architecture, and like even just like knowing how to switch out a light fixture or like anything. And then, of course, that comes back to bite me in the ass when I go back to my parents' house and they're like, can you swap out all this?
That's the way of it. My mom does the thing now where anytime she needs something changed out, she'll ask me. And then when I do it, she'll turn to her friends and be like, yeah, so we did this over here. And I'm like, bitch, I love you, but who the fuck is we? What that's, I hope, am I using the royal we? What's happening here? But Paul, the story about Hal and your neighbors is genuinely really lovely and heartwarming. And I'm glad that had that full circle moment. But I think a lot of the criticism that our generation took early on was based on the fact that, number one, the schooling system made a huge push when we were younger toward technology education.
Yeah, white collar, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, we were in a transition moment of like, information and technology advancement is the American economy. And so let's get as many people into that as possible. So a lot of people who like to work with their hand, or I should say, people who were not good at sitting at a desk for a long period of time were shunned and put into like, the tech
ed classes.
Vocational education.
Right, for the dumb kids, right? That exactly. Was totally it. Yeah.
Exactly. And on top of that, when like things actually came up, there were very few people who were willing to actually show us how to fix things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we lacked that. And then as we grew older, we came into the necessity of fixing things. And that's how we got into it. And it's the same critique that's happening of Gen Z right now, which I do think is unwarranted, of like, give them 10 years, give them 15 years. And then they're going to be figuring out how to change out switches and sockets and, how to sweat a pipe, because do you know how expensive tradesfolk are going to be in 15 years? Because there's like 7 of us left.
They don't return the calls. They're so busy. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Of course.
Mary? Yeah.
Yes, it's been getting a contractor to agree to a date and being on time for that date is like, it's so rare. It is so frustrating. And
Mary getting stood up for a date? Is that what I just heard?
As someone who likes to schedule things and have people be on time, it is infuriating for me.
Well, my daughter is 18, right? And I had to make a conscious decision about like, do I try and force her hand to like learn some of these skills? And
does she know how to swap out a tire?
Probably not. No.
Okay.
But she has seen me do almost everything, and she's been living in this house while I've been doing major projects, and she's been a little part of them here and there. And of course, I taught her some woodworking in the shop. And so I feel like, look, she may not enjoy it, and right now she doesn't. I know she doesn't, right?
Of course,
but
she's a teenager.
At least she knows what's possible on her own. It's in there. I know the information's in there. She's seen me do it. She's seen the work ethic. She's seen like, you can figure this out yourself. You don't have to necessarily hire someone. It's in there. So I know when the time's right, she'll be like, I think I can figure this out.
Well, and as we've talked about before on the pod, you and her are very similar. I think it might be slightly different if you were entirely different personalities. Like my brother and sister, hard to say they have a handy bone in their body. But I'm more like my father than they are. And I grew up watching him, I can't say fix everything, but he definitely took things apart, Well,
I mean, that's half of it, right?
Sure. But watching him do that, like I have never lacked for confidence in the arena of, I can figure out how that goes together and I can recreate that.
I thought you were going to end your sentence after I've never lacked for confidence.
That's a t-shirt. That's our next t-shirt.
Oh, that's it. That's today's t-shirt. I've never lacked for confidence. And it's Eric's face just like smug.
I think there's enough people who critique me for that on the internet. We don't need to promote that. But yeah, Paul, to your point, I think just being around it, like, of course, right now she doesn't like it. And there are probably some things that like forcing her hand to learn is a good thing. Like to Mary's point, swapping a flat tire, like that's a thing that's good to know. Mm-hmm. But there will come a point in her life where this is what I always said when I was teaching middle schoolers wood shop, because it was mandatory for the middle schoolers. I was always like, I don't care what you do for a living. I don't care if you're a lawyer. I don't care if you're a doctor. Whatever it is. There's gonna come a point where you own a home and the socket dies or the switch dies or whatever, or you got to swap out a sink. and you've been in this classroom and you've used a drill and you've fucked around with screwdriver, like you have a basic understanding of how mechanical things go together, and you might just have that moment of like, I could probably figure that out. You know that it's possible, and that's what you're doing for your daughter right now. Is
totally.
You're just showing her that, like, even if you don't know the thing, you know that the thing is figure outable.
Yes, and that confidence goes a long way to even trying it. Now, Mary, I want to put something on the record. Mary, let's. I want to put this down on the record, because like this whole like what Eric, what you said about like when you were young, like the pressure to be like tech and like white collar ivory tower shit, and like the Votech was kind of shit on. Like I want to just set that like right in the center of the table for a minute, because I have seen both sides with eyes wide open, right? Like my science job is about as ivory tower as it gets, right? And I've been in that for a long time. And I've also been under my sink cutting the water supply pipe by accident, right? With my 80-year-old neighbor showing me how to use a hacksaw. And I've done woodworking now for 20 years and tried to earn money at it. And I felt the pain of how hard it is to be on your feet for 8-10 hours wrangling huge slabs of wood and making mistakes and just keeping that physical motivate. Like I've seen both sides of this coin, and I can't express how unfair I think it was all along, that the sort of white collar was like the, so put on a pedestal, and the blue collar was, I'm sorry, I'm using those terms and I don't love those terms, but I'm just using them just to conjure like in our mind.
They're generalities.
Okay. I'm so pissed, having seen both sides pretty clearly. They're both hard in their own right. One is not necessarily more valuable than another. One is not necessarily more difficult than another. I think they both have their difficulty. Mary, you are I feel like you're very similar. You have a very white collar education and job, and you have been fucking making shit for years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like you see what I'm saying. They're both hard. There's not a hierarchy here.
Yeah, they both, and a lot of people try to say like, oh, one is like working your brain, the other is more manual labor. That's not true necessarily. One is probably only working your brain, the white collar one, but like the blue collar jobs, and I also don't love that term, but there's so much kind of like creativity in those jobs that you don't understand, because nothing is going to be exactly the same. Nothing is like a easy answer. I mean, sometimes it is, but often this is, every time I hear a contractor be like, what the fuck is this? And then I'm just like, oh, no, that's my money going down the drain.
That's my favorite game is, oh, well, I don't know who did this before me, but exactly. If I was this guy, I wouldn't have fucking done it this way.
Exactly. I was like, every time I heard that, I just like groaned internally, like, oh my God, that's more of my money going towards this guy. I already know it. But like, I always hear them say that, and then they have to like figure out like how to get around what the last person did. Like, these are things that sure I could do, but it would take me so long and so much like, I don't know. There's so much expertise in the number of hours
and experience in knowing, I'll give you a great example. We picked up an antique sink off the side of the road. A friend of ours found this amazing, like beautiful porcelain cast iron sink from the 1920s on the side of the road. And my wife's like, dude, we need this sink, because we had a modern shitty Lowe's one from the previous owner. And I was like, yes, we do. But the plumbing it is going to be a total nightmare. Like plumbing was not standard back then. Like what the fuck? So
how much did it weigh?
A lot. It was like 150 pounds. Yeah, 150 Jeez. Easily, maybe 200. So I had my wife, of course, my wing woman there, because I'm Gen X. So we mounted it fine. We found a mounting bracket at a home renovate. A restoration like place, and we cut it in half because the spacing didn't match the sink. So I took a hacksaw, cut it in half, and spaced it out. Okay, fine, problem solved. And then it's leaking. The wastewater return, like I can't find something that fits it. It's non-standard. These are non-standard diameters. For the love of God, like, can we not use standard diameters, right? And nothing's working. And so we go to this local oldie time plumbing supply store, and there's an old timer behind the counter, and we tell him the problem, and we're like, we cannot find a pipe that fits this. I don't understand. And he's like, listen, this is what we used to do. You take string, right, and you dip it in wax, and in the gap between the two where it doesn't fit and wastewater would come. This is a non-pressurized fitting, of course. This is just wastewater, so it's just gravity. He's like, in that fitting, in that gap between the two pipes, you just put a big wad of this waxed up string and you just stuff it in there. And I'm looking at him like, really? Is that what you do? He's like, I guarantee it'll work. And so I was like, okay. So we go home with this $2 wad of cotton string dipped in wax, and we fucking stuff it between the two pipes. That was 10 years ago. It hasn't leaked. And I'm like, fuck. Like, there is just there's great wisdom, Mary, like you were saying. Like, in these trades, there's creativity in terms of problem solving, the level of expertise and experience. There's just no way you can get that without paying your dues in the field, right? And I think this is highly undervalued from that community.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So that was just my soapbox moment. Having been on both sides,
I was just sitting back enjoying listening to you guys talk about it.
Well,
it was a good time.
I feel like there's not a ton of people who can speak from both sides. I feel like Mary and I certainly have, and you too. I mean, you too. Eric, come on, you're a college grad. Get out of here. I know.
Sure. Yeah, but like I've never held an office job.
Yeah,
you know.
But anyway, I just all right. So one more question before we move to lightning round, which we're going to do next. Well, actually, two questions. The first one is like renovation fatigue.
Ugh.
You decide to do a project, right? And you're into it, and then after like 3 weeks or a month, and you just want to die. Have you guys felt renovation fatigue before?
My entire time in this house. Honestly, like, I think the reason I don't enjoy DIY is because I finish a project and like, yeah, it looks good, but I am just not like, I don't get the same satisfaction out of that I do making a piece of furniture for some reason. It's just
I don't either. Same.
It's just not as satisfying to me.
I agree.
And I don't know why it's different, but it is for me. And the fact that I just have more and more of that, and I know that I'm not going to be like as satisfied, is just kind of exhausting. And like, I just wish I could be making furniture.
Eric, do you get renovation fatigue?
So the year was 2011.
Story time
on my dungeon. I was working on dungeon number 2.
Well, this was in my mom's house, so I hope not. And Irene had just hit New York, and she's about 50 miles north of the city, but still, like, the whole area got slammed. And she lives in a raised ranch. It was built in, I think, 1962. And the water table lies like a few feet below the foundation. And when that water came up, it was coming up through the concrete lower level of the house. So like the whole thing was completely fucked.
Wow.
So we decided in that moment that we were going to tear the whole thing out. And I agreed that I was going to move back up there for a time, because this was in that transition period post-college where I wanted to go back to school for woodworking. So I was like, okay, here's the deal. I'll renovate the basement if I can turn the garage into a workshop for a time as I kind of figure out this woodworking thing. She was like, great, no problem. So strip the entire thing out, like to the foundation, to the cinder block walls, and started from there. And
was it a finished basement?
Well, it's a split level, right? It's a raised ranch, so it
Oh,
was the lower
okay,
level of
gotcha.
the house.
Mhm.
So the whole thing, like once I tore everything out, once we got rid of 2 dumpsters full of construction debris, I replaced the wastewater line because that had been tapped. It was copper, so it wasn't cast iron like yours, but it had been tapped into so many times over the last 50 years by my grandfather, who didn't know what he was doing, even though he was a contractor, and my father, who was drunk when he did it all. That like it was useless.
Mhm.
Replaced the electrical, and reframed the entire thing, changed the entire layout, and it got to a point. I think it was like 4 or 5 months in where it was just like, I don't give a fuck about this job anymore, But so I think it ended up taking me like 8 or 10 months to finish that whole renovation. But at that point, I was working, like I had to pay my bills, so I was doing other things. But it was a slog. And
Mhm.
what I saw happen was in the idea phase, in the design phase, in the moving things phase. I think, Mary, this sounds like it might be opposite to your experience. I was really intrigued and engaged in the puzzle fitting components of it, moving the plumbing, moving the electrical, reframing out the walls. And then by the time I got to like the third coat of mud, I was like, fuck this shit, man. Let's just bring somebody else. I'm so over it. And the detail work was not interesting to me at all.
Oh, wow, really?
So yeah, like I had no interest. I I could see what the thing was. And also it wasn't my house, that probably had a thing to do with it. And I had other dreams of like being a woodworker. Um, but yeah, I mean, 8 months into that project, and I was like,
That's a long time.
I was doing it completely by myself.
Yeah.
The only people I brought in were people to help remove the debris when I was demoing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot.
The common thread I hear from both of you, and my experience too, is I do the DIY, but I don't love it. I want to get back to woodworking. That's the common thread.
Yeah, to some extent. And I think that's why I haven't taken on some of the larger projects in my house, like replacing the stairwell that I mentioned earlier,
Mm.
or doing the kitchen, because there are parts of it that are, I still enjoy a construction project, but doing a kitchen by yourself will invariably take like a month.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, I don't care about kitchens. Like, that doesn't excite me. Like, I don't give a shit.
But it excited my wife, so I did it.
Well, if there was the promise of an excited wife on the other side of that kitchen, maybe I'd be more motivated, And maybe there's a bigger payoff there.
And actually,
I do.
Eric, you worked on my kitchen for my excited wife.
I sure did. You're welcome, buddy.
I do think that there is a point at which I have to be like, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to pay someone to do it because if they can do it faster than me, and I know that they can do a better job, most likely, then I'm just going to wait and save up to be able to pay them, because I think for me, especially if it's like a larger job, if it's just me, that's going to be a nightmare, and I'm going to have to live in that too. So if they can get it done faster,
Mary, you have to live in the construction zone. That's part of it. So during the kitchen, which took 2 months, I mean, we went down to the studs, the walls, the ceiling, the floor, every piece of trim, the stripped doors, the entire pan, you name it, we did it. By the end of the 2 months, we were she was pretty good. I was so depressed. I almost needed counseling. I needed a therapist, because it was like every day of just forcing yourself to do hours and hours of work that you really don't enjoy for 2 months, every single day, because the kitchen, you need a fucking kitchen in a house. And you're living in this construction zone, and everything in the kitchen is now in the dining room. So you don't have a dining room either. So you're like eating in the living room for 2 months. You can barely make food. And so you want to get it done as fast as possible. The fatigue was so real. But I mean, she loves it. She tells me all the time, and it's been years. Even today, 6 years, 8 years later, she's like, "Have I told you how much I love this kitchen?" And I'm like, "Me too. I love it too." But boy, did that hurt. That one really hurt.
I know we've talked about this on the show in the past, probably in the distant past, but the mental engagement of the work that you do the first time you do it is, you can chase that dragon for the rest of your life. And then at some point you develop skill. And then when you do the same thing over and over, for some people, what happens is that work becomes monotonous and
Boring.
like depressing, right? And
Yeah.
bored.
Yeah.
And so when you're in that state, as I'm not promoting doing work and using drugs. That's not a combination.
What?
That
Are you suggesting you take an edible and then do the work?
No.
What are you saying?
I'm not suggesting that. What I'm saying is, like, we've talked about how in the past that the engagement, the hands can do things when the brain is not on.
Okay.
And then once you get 2 months into a project where all you've been doing is milling wood or laying tile or whatever it is, you're like, I could probably have a bourbon at lunch. Like, it's probably not a big deal.
I feel like
Mary, where's this
there's
going?
a difference between us.
I'm just saying. Maybe that's why your bricklayer is stoned a little bit. Like, maybe it just relaxes the mind, so it's not the drudgery of it. Maybe don't judge people for their human experiences.
Okay, so aside from doing drugs before we do motivation, Eric,
I feel like this is a unique episode, guys.
All right, I have some rapid fire questions for you too. You ready for a little
Shoot.
lightning round?
Okay.
Okay, this is a segment we used to do, but I mean, Mary's here. We can roll it back to all the old segments we used to do. We haven't
The ones
done
that gave me anxiety.
We haven't done the second segment in a long time.
We haven't.
No, it's been a long time. We're gonna do lightning, what I like to call lightning round, and so Eric and Mary have to answer, and myself will answer quick, rapid fire questions. No long verbose shit.
Physically impossible, but carry on.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Okay. What's a trend you're seeing everywhere
Yes.
with houses right now that you think people will regret in 5 to 10 years?
Color blasting their rooms.
Not the right term.
Sorry, color drenching?
I guess.
Is that the term that you... What is the
Eric,
actual
what does that
term?
even mean? What,
All right,
color
so-
drenching is the term, but
Mary has educated me to this trend.
What is
which
this?
is like where you paint everything in the room the same color.
it's a trend.
Everything.
But yeah, so like the trim, the walls, the ceiling, everything is the same color. But people, it's not like it hasn't been a trend for a specific style of house. So like Victorian style, kind of like Edwardian, that is in line for that. However, people are doing it to houses that don't have that style, so
I
it looks
see.
really
It's out
of place. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So color drenching, is that what you call it?
Color blasting.
And then
Blasting.
Eric called it color blasting for some reason.
Mary?
Oh God. Oh God, I know it's lightning round, but my mind is blank. I guess
Fail.
like
No.
I
Done.
think right. Antiquing and thrifting right now is really popular.
And you think that's going to be passe in 5 to 10 years?
I think it won't be as popular.
Okay. Mine is gray walls and granite countertops.
Oh
Big
yeah, those are
thumbs
already
down.
out.
Those
Yeah.
are already out, I think.
Okay. Ready? Number 2. Wallpaper or paint? Mary?
Oh, it depends. Paint for the versatility.
Eric?
Paint, I will always have an emotional reaction of like grandma's dungeon to wallpaper. A lot of dungeon talk. A lot of dungeon talk.
Dungeon now?
Yeah, she was a weird. She was a freak.
Grandma's
Paul.
freaky deaky. Grandma's freaky deaky. Paint, but I'm edging towards wallpaper. We're gonna put
I do like
wallpaper in that
wallpaper.
dining room.
Don't do it.
We're gonna
I like
do it.
wallpaper in very specific scenarios.
We're doing it, Eric. Shut up. Okay, next question. Open concept or defined rooms? Eric.
Defined rooms.
Define rooms.
Our house is defined rooms, and I love it. All right, Mary. Keep the original charm or modernize?
Keep original charm.
It depends on when it was built. Like if it built in 1980, don't keep. There's no charm in that.
that's
Get
true.
the fuck out of here. Yeah.
Okay. Which is scary? What would I say? Keep the of course, keep the original
Obviously.
charm. Duh.
Yeah. I assume you didn't
Okay.
even need to answer that.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, that's a gimme. Which is scarier for DIY? Electrical
Relationships.
or
Oh,
plumbing? Eric?
sorry. Keep going.
Jesus Christ. It's a fucking therapist session.
Most people, interestingly, I don't think either are scary. I grew up doing both. Most people, interestingly, are more afraid of electrical.
I'm more afraid of electrical.
Where more physical damage can be done to your house through
That's
plumbing.
true.
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, but
Okay, Mary?
electrical, there's like, for me, it's electrical because there's always the chance of like death.
Yeah, but if you cut the fucking line, then the breaker will go off and cut the electric to the line. Whereas if you cut a plumbing line, you have to go all the way downstairs and you probably don't know where the fuck your main valve is. So now you're all of a sudden flooding your kitchen with a bad intake pipe.
Okay,
All
that's your own fault for not knowing where your main valve is.
Yeah, I know where my main valve is, Eric. I use it routinely, so I'm definitely more scared of electrical. Although I'm not. That being said, I'm not scared of electrical in any sense. But I suppose you could die if you make.
You didn't
mistake.
include structural in that.
Oh yeah.
Fair point.
Okay. Manual. Mary, manual. Do you read it or figure it out as you go?
Oh, I read it so hard. Are you kidding me?
Eric?
You guys know me.
She color blasted that manual. I mean, I'll skim it. Yeah.
That means he doesn't read it.
No, I'll skim it. If there are things I don't know, I'll definitely skim it. But
All right,
most of the time,
I'm a figure it out as you go with like skim for the key points. Workflow. Do you finish one room before you move on, or do you
No.
do 3 projects at once?
multiple.
Oh,
Mary?
I'm learning this because I was doing 3 at once, but now I have to do 1 at a time.
I'm a 1 at a time kind of guy. I can't handle the disorder of 3 at once.
Mm.
Job
It's
site.
too slow for me.
Job site. Do you clean up every night, or do you wait until the project's done?
No.
Clean up every night.
My house has not been clean.
Oh, I leave it a shit show until it's done.
No, I'll always clean up. There's nothing harder than coming in to a dirty work site and getting shit done early in the morning. Because then the first thing you do is organize.
All right, 2 more. You ready? Tools, cordless or corded for power?
Depends on the situation.
It does, but for the most part, I have cordless.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. Cordless for quick jobs, corded for long jobs, I would say.
I don't even think it's a job. I think it's just a torque situation. Like
Yeah.
if we're mixing concrete, corded. If I'm nailing up some trim, obviously cordless.
All right, finally, the dream. Is it a historic fixer-upper with character and charm? Or is it a brand new build, modern?
I don't have to
As-
answer this.
As a historic fixer-upper with some charm myself, I'm gonna go for old but good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I bought.
Yeah, it's what I love. All 3 of us are aligned on that. All right, and that concludes our lightning round, everyone. Thank you.
Hey.
I understand why some people want new construction. Like I know when Keith was looking, because he's had issues in the past with old homes. Like I understand the appeal, but as someone who really wants like charm and character and like visual, like things that are pleasing to the eye, I just can't get behind new construction.
Mary, let me ask you: this new modern farmhouse trend. Do you think it's here to stay, or is it a flash in the pan?
Modern farmhouse?
Have you noticed this new modern contemporary farmhouse trend with all black
I
windows and
haven't-
stuff?
Oh, I haven't noticed modern farmhouse. I've noticed kind of like return to almost like traditional style. Like people
Okay.
are really into paneling and kind of.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to
vintage
show
antique.
you. There's like a thing up here in New England where it's like farmhouses but done modern with all black windows and black trim. It's a whole thing up here. I'll have to send you some
God,
pictures.
I hate that.
I'll have to send you some pictures.
Hey, Mary, let me ask you a question. When's the last time you prayed?
I don't know where this is going, but
I'm asking about your relationship to the Lord.
our Lord and Savior
Billiam T. Burkle? Yes,
yep.
indeed.
William Teresa Burkle.
Yes, indeed. So it's been a hot minute since you've contributed to the Church of WTB Woodworking. What's your
Chad.
tithing life?
Chad and Will.
Saint Chad and Saint Will.
Do we
They've
have
been
a plot
venerated.
twist?
They've
my
been venerated. So, you know, I know the Christian church likes to tithe 10%, but the reason that Billiam Teresa Burkle is our Lord and Savior is because he tithes 50% on so many of the things that are on sale in his store right now. This is probably far after the fact these things have gone off sale, but we're going to say it anyway. All Chill epoxy products, definitely. Like he's tithing 50% of the proceeds from those to his own church. I don't know. I feel like my analogy is falling away right now. Slabs, amazing. He sacrifices so many trees to the gods of woodworking, which is weird because he is among them. But they're all 50% off as well, so that he can maintain a good relationship with the Church of WTB Saints. You know, I feel like you guys should know that all of his slabs and boards are phenomenal. They're beautiful. They're wonderful. Worthy of a deity, I would say. I don't mean to overstep the bounds, but like definitely if you're trying to build something for, you know, his holiness.
This is a bizarre metaphor.
I feel like WTB is where you want to go. No? And you can find the main temple of woodworking at 390 Pike
It's a
Road in Huntington Valley, Pennsylvania. And you can tithe at WTBwoodworking.com.
Oh my God, Eric.
Interesting. Things have changed since I've last been on here.
You haven't been introduced to the cult of
our
WTB
Lord and Savior.
Woodworking? Praise be.
Okay.
Praise be Chad.
Praise be Chad.
With that, all right, y'all. Well, I hope you enjoyed our episode on home ownership and DIY. This was a little bit of an experiment. We didn't quite know where it was going to go, but I think it went to some fun places. If you would do us a favor, I keep forgetting to ask this, but if you could give us a rating on, say, like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, if you would go to the rating section, it's in the About, and give us a rating, whatever that rating is. If it's good, great. If it's bad, great.
Let me put an addendum on there. Maybe if you didn't love this episode and it's your first episode you listened to, maybe go back and listen to a couple other ones before you go ahead and put up that rating.
Eric, are you saying this is a bad episode?
I didn't say it was a bad episode, but it was maybe not a 5-star episode.
He's hedging. But if you, if you enjoy our podcast or you don't enjoy it, please give us a rating because we're all about authenticity here. And if you want the video feed, you know what to do. You can hit us up and the after show, which we'll discuss Mary's dating life. We're going to hit that up in the after show. I just made that up. We're going to hit that up in the after show.
Now that's what we're doing.
You can hit that up on Patreon. Is that it, Eric? Anything else? Any other notes?
I think that's everything.
We have. Oh no, that's dated. Okay, yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
I was thinking it's time sensitive, but this is not.
I was just gonna say, love you guys, appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening. And you know what, Paul and Mary, I love and appreciate both of you too. You guys are both wonderful friends and wonderful co-hosts. And I don't want to hear no shit from anybody on the internet. Okay.
About
I don't know why I took that in a hard
Wait,
left
what?
direction.
Whoa!
What shit are people talking about?
You guys are wonderful. That's all.
I liked your moment of appreciation, and then it got weird.
Now I have so much anxiety.
That's what we're talking about in the after show. Okay, bye.
Bye.